I had wanted to come to Copenhagen to influence what was going to happen here. I really, really believe that every single person has the right to a life that they can enjoy and to a life that's free from worry. And this was really going to be the time when we can show these world leaders that we care. If I had to cycle here, if I had to walk here, I was going to get here. From the beginning of last week, we heard rumours that non-governmental organisations weren't going to be allowed into the conference centre due to security reasons or like a lack of space. To have worked for 7 months, fundraising, planning, for that just to be turned down and for a couple of people just to say you're not coming in was really, really frustrating. But it's so much more than that as well. This whole of this issue is nothing to do with the people inside that conference centre this week. Most of these guys are 50, 60 years old, and they're not going to be around for very long. And they're also rich, and they haven't got to worry about environmental destruction. So for them to sit there and tell us that we can't come in, to tell a girl from Maldives who's come all the way from across the world and spent all of her money and her country is going underwater in 30 years' time is just complete outrage. Just so much worse than like I expected. But when we were sitting in a people's area after they closed the NGOs off, we kind of heard already through people inside that the results weren't going to be very good. And then Obama came on the screen and we all ran over. And as he was talking, it was becoming more and more obvious that the deal was not good. I couldn't handle it. I went outside, I had a cigarette, and I tried to catch my breath. They haven't committed to any emission targets. They want to limit temperature increase to 2 degrees, which basically means that a number of countries are going to go underwater. They also haven't given sufficient adaptation funds for developing nations. It might as well have not have happened, and we might as well have been in the same situation that we were 2 weeks ago. Even though this was the biggest climate summit that's ever happened, it hasn't moved anything. It proves that the UN isn't working at the moment. This process has been going on for 18 years. Some of the delegation here are that old, and this has been going on the whole of their lifetime, and it still hasn't worked. I met a girl called Alicia from the Maldives about a week ago. She'd given an interview to the press, just begging people to look after her and to look after her people, and saying how terrified she was that by the time she was 40 or 50, she's going to be an environmental refugee. She wasn't going to have a home. She couldn't even make it to the end of the press interviews because she was so emotional. It's really, really painful to see these kind of emotions in real life, and to see these people just begging the world to listen to them, and for them to be swept aside like nothing, and for nothing to come out of Copenhagen. It's fucking painful. On the last day, we all went down to the Bella Centre, where all the leaders were either leaving or had already left, and stood there for about 4 hours in the freezing cold to protest and to shout and to say we're not giving up. At the end of it, about 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, a delegate from Bolivia came out and talked to us, and he said something in particular which really, really moved me, which was, it's not been a success on the inside of the Bella Centre, but it has been a massive success on the outside. All the actions that we have done may not have literally changed what's happened on the inside, but when we were walking along with 100,000 people from all different walks of life, children, families, businessmen, it just showed there is a momentum now. The passion that's been shown over the last few weeks has been so amazing. The whole of the team, the whole of the international youth, the whole of the movement is hopeful and is excited. It's been one of the most important things that's been going on, much more important than what's been going on inside the conference centre, is to see the movement growing, is to see the passion growing, and to see the possibilities growing. There have been so many moments that just remind me exactly why I'm here. Getting to know international youth has been one of the greatest things. We've sponsored quite a few Kenyans to come over, so we've spent a lot of time getting to know them in particular. 2 groups from the other side of the world, sitting in a tiny little restaurant, chatting about our languages and our cultures. We've played snowball fights with them, we've played football. It just makes the whole of the UN process at the moment seem ridiculous. It's like every country's fighting for itself, thinking about what can I get out of this. All of the youth are going to be affected from all over the world. To form those kind of bonds with those people is so incredible, because when we're older, we're all going to work together and there isn't going to be this divide that there is at the moment. Like, the reason I got involved in the whole of this thing is that it's not about negativity, it's about making sure that the good stuff that we have is protected. The team in particular has been amazing. To see more than 20 people from different backgrounds, completely different personalities come together and get on so well, inspire each other, look after each other, have conflicting opinions yet keep arriving at things which benefit the team. People that have given up their winter holidays have fundraised thousands of pounds, and that kind of passion inspires people, and it makes them look towards the movement and say, that's amazing that these guys still give a shit. That Copenhagen was never going to be the end. We need more of the population of the world to come on board. We need to show the world leaders that we know enough and we care enough. We're going to keep growing the momentum. If we have to change the way the UN system works, we'll do it. I'm 20 years old. I'm a random guy from a little village just near Cambridge. I'm not a genius, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a politician. But I'm here and I am having influence, and I am influencing people and influencing the process because I'm here. And if the whole of the world did that, but whatever they could, whatever time they had, it would completely change the world. The UKYCC, you know, it started off with 2 people that went on a trip to the Arctic, and now it's hundreds of people from all over the place. And then you look at the big picture and you see all these groups all over the world. You're not just on your own fighting for this thing, but you've got everyone around you lighting torches and standing up in the freezing cold and kneeling on the floor and writing out a message to the world saying, like, we're not going to give up fighting, we're not done yet.